Greetings, all. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I wake up every morning to find the variety of articles in my inbox, just like you. Some from friends, family, news outlets. And most of the time I let them go because there'll come a time when I will talk about those. And as in the process of time, it may not be even necessary to do it because people will see clearly what's going on and there will be no necessity, because a lot of the news articles today, you have outlets that are just screaming at people because there's so many, and all of them is just trying to make money. From what they do. And I wrote, I made a video the other day. I still have to make a continuation for that video about people saying that Trump is going after people's visa, immigration status, and trying to keep African Americans from traveling, people with African roots from traveling. And I explained to you some of the things that I've seen, that people were just making articles, making videos, and not presenting the facts. And I hope you saw it that way and didn't look at it as though I was attacking somebody. Anyway, one of the articles that I came across my inbox this morning was a book written by a Jewish man named Geithner. White Jews were like everyone else, only more so during slavery and the Civil War. White Jews were like everyone else, even more so during slavery and the Civil War. In the book, he talked about some of the Jewish people who fought on the Union side and some on the Confederate side. And his idea was, well, we're not unusual, There are a few people who were involved in slavery. And there are all these people who fought to get rid of it. But he didn't look at he mentioned the percentage. You got 100 people in a room, they're Jewish, and 50% of them own slaves. And you got 100 Caucasians in the room, and 10% of them own slaves. Which is both are significant, but you can't downplay your part in it. You can't tell me that just because the other man is keeping slaves, well, I'm within my right to keep slaves because everybody is doing it. Okay, here's the book. Richard Geithner, Fear No Pharaoh. American Jews, the Civil War, and the fight to end slavery shatters myth about overstated both Jewish involvement in slavery and the opposition to it, revealing diversity of response to the United States' original sin. And that was not the original sin of the United States. Before it was slavery, it was destruction of the local population, the population they came into the land and found. It wasn't called America at the time, but the same people were involved. But anyway, I'm not dealing with that subject. We deal with the subject of slavery, African slavery, and the people who call themselves Jews that don't want to take responsibility for their actions. The book confronts both Jewish heroism and complicity, but Kreitner's approach, while making no excuses, is an empathetic one, recognizing Jews' acceptance in their adopted homeland was a conditional. I have to laugh at that because I find it funny. It's serious, but I find it funny. He said these actions were premised on keeping a low profile, as in the case of ambitious Southerners like Benjamin, partaking in very abomination from which his faith commemorated the liberation, the liberation that they're talking about is this so-called story about how they freed themselves from bondage in Egypt, which is the biggest lie that's ever told. Partaking in the very abomination from which his faith now, not the truth, the faith is a belief, commemorated a liberation every Passover. Kreitner is being interviewed by this man, P.J. Grissar. The Nation of Islam and others greatly exaggerate a Jewish role in slavery. How did you think to strike a balance between acknowledging the reality of Jewish involvement while rejecting the slanders that you make blame on them? Richard Kreitner. When you dig into the literature, particularly that developed in response to the Nation of Islam book, so-called, you realize very quickly there's almost not a story there. Almost not a story there. Because the Jews were really not that different from other people. The only difference is that they were Jewish. You see, well, there's no story there. Islam listed all the things that we did. But there's really no story because other people do it too. Other people did it. So we are not different. Like, we know you're not different. We know that you are not the people who you claim you are. We know that. That's why I always warn my brothers who believe, who are Israelites, who think they're the sons of Jacob. Do not call yourself Jewish, because this thing is not going to end nicely. They play a game where this, and you can see the game being played right here. We're on both sides, and whichever side wins, we are protected. One Jewish man, more than one actually, but there's one specific that told me that, and he's, I mean, so wealthy that You wouldn't find his name on Forbes. You do not find his name on Forbes. Trust me, I'm telling you. There are some people in the world that their names are not on Forbes' list of the richest people. Forbes cannot print their names. And this guy is one of them. And I heard it from his mouth. We are on both sides of everything. So that when one side loses, the other side, the losing side, they are protected by the ones who are on the winning side. And here I'm seeing it now. And I'm telling you, get this book or this article and read it. Sometimes you have to buy the information. So you have the knowledge of it. And the knowledge of how it's done, why it's being done. And this book gives you information about. And when I'm reading this article, I'm seeing how it's done, why it's done, who is doing it. And there's this smile on my face that says, don't worry, I got you. But according to this man, we are not unusual. Everybody was doing it. Everybody was involved in this slavery. So it's fine. Don't blame yourself for it. Don't get worried. Another theme of my videos. Just because your cousin or your friend is a thug, a thief, and a murderer, are you going to teach your children to be one? He might gain lots of wealth as a drug dealer. You're going to teach your children to be a drug dealer. And here, that's the problem. I heard it so much in Africa. Well, they do it in America. They do it in Europe. People talk about some of the things that go in Africa. Well, people get murdered in America every day. Yes, people get murdered in America every day. People get robbed in America every day. So you decide that you want to do that in your country, in Africa, because it's being done in America. What kind of foolishness is that? You see how many black people today, white people, have been doing things for years. Caucasians been doing things. I hate using that word white. Anyway, Caucasians have been doing things for years. One black man does it, and the whole black community gets blamed for every wicked thing that happens. I had to correct one man on WLID, the host, the manager, who said the same foolishness. Caucasians do it all the time. But every time one of us get in trouble, it's the whole community is blamed. It's not making an excuse. You tell your children not to do it. You tell your children not to do it. We have to learn from this book. You see what's going on in Palestine today? Keep telling you these people are the Zionists and the Nazis are the same. You see what's going on in Palestine today? When one of these books come out saying, well, the whole world was doing it, look what happened in Iraq. A lot of people did. Madeleine Albright, they asked her about why are you killing so many people in Iraq? So many children in Iraq. And she laughed and says, hey, they're Iraqis. I don't see anything wrong with killing them. This Jewish woman, Madeleine Albright, she don't see anything wrong with enslaving African people. This guy don't see anything wrong with enslaving African people because other people were doing it. Just imagine that. You think today that you are free, you have equal rights. You better think again. This other people are doing it just because. You remember Kyrie Irving? He just came out and said, hey, wow, I'm getting an education here. I'm learning about myself. They didn't like what he was saying. Every one of the Jewish people come down on him. Even the people who weren't Jewish, they were putting pressure on them to come down on Irving and the black community, the African American community. They don't want that knowledge out because they don't want people to be looking at them and saying, hey, you are part of the evil. And when you begin to see the evil, you got to make a judgment. Do I follow it, or do I bring it to justice? And we have not yet reached the point where African people are saying, you know what, we got to bring this to justice. That day is coming. Believe me, that day is coming. It's going to be so cold that day in hell that the devil is going to run. It's going to be so cold on that day, the devil is going to run. Y'all are talking about the fire, but it's not the fire. They're fooling you. It's the ice. Get the book. Read the article. Go type it into Google. Find the article and read it. Those of you who listen to me, read your article. It is necessary that you know this knowledge. Peace.